Hey all, and welcome back to the HSC playthrough of...
The Wonderful 101!
I love doing that. Oh, it makes these intros so much easier. So, gonna head into Wonderful Mart here, gonna buy some stuff for the custom block. I loved Healing Guts too, my friend.
Yeah, it's, I would argue, probably one of the first custom blocks you're going to want to get, because it makes life so much simpler when you can get a little bit of extra health by blocking things.
Indeedy so. Now, what's this Ukemi thing?
So, the Ukemi is... the best way of describing it is, it's effectively like a witch time dodge,
Right.
but you kind of are able to pull it off at the last minute, but there's a technique that you can pull off later on in the game which effectively is witch time, which is really fun, but it's going to be a while before we get anywhere close to unlocking that.
I got you. Alright, enemy parasitic intelligence extractor. That's a bit of a wordy title. I feel like we could have come up with a fun acronym for that. Just because we're saving the world doesn't mean we have to be so po-faced.
I mean, this is true, but also, I mean, Wonder Red is very much the definition of straight-laced with everything, to the point of every title needs to be specific and exact.
That judo dude on the left is juddering so much, it's captured my full attention.
Considering how many different models the game has going on at any given time, it's a miracle that there aren't more instances of those kinds of slight graphical hiccups, because it's clearly just the positioning of him on the geometry during a cutscene. In most of the instances, you wouldn't even notice, but it's because it's right there in frame.
They thought we wouldn't notice, but I did. So I have played through this. I've been making a point to play it ahead, and there are some parts of this where I will complain. But for the most part, this chapter is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, this chapter is a lot of fun and introduces some really brilliantly clever bits and pieces. It also has one of, I would argue, the most frustrating missions that I would say is in the game.
Wow.
You'll understand when we get to it.
So I'm noticing you have the camera pulled in here.
I think it's very much a case of I tend to prefer being closer to the action because it makes the Wonderful Ones slightly bigger, and therefore I'm able to sort of position them in a slightly more improved way than I would be the further out it is.
Right.
However, as with pretty much everything in this game, the name of the game is reaction. And so you really do just need to develop flexibility to just dealing with whatever the game is going to throw at you, because it's going to throw some random shit.
I just kind of left things at default, so I imagine my ability to react in kind would be better if I pulled the camera in a little bit. But hey, that was a pretty good mission to start with there, Rich.
Oh yes, I mean, I certainly will continue to do my best in all of the performance metrics of this game, because, good lord, I wanted to prove that I still had it.
Yeah. Gusto didn't die, he just went to the Wonderful 101 dimension.
As you have probably noticed, there are a ridiculous number of references throughout this game to everything under the sun. I mean, the fact that, you know, that crunch cake sign, that is clearly Pac-Man.
Oh, of course, yeah. You might be seeing a little bit of Pac-Man on the channel in the somewhat near future.
Ooh, I look forward to it.
Yes. Doesn't involve you, but you may enjoy it just like anyone else.
That's fair. Now, you 100% want to make sure that you get one of these red UFOs, because they're the ones that you can ride. Try not to end up destroying them, because what you need to do is you need to jump into it and then fly all the way over here, as far as you can, to just get in the right position to get that hero heart fragment.
Oh, I didn't do that. I did the rocket move.
That is fair. That is another technique that you can do to get it, but that's the easier way to unlock it. And actually, this is probably one of the very few instances where you're going to come across enemies, but there's no actual mission involved.
Alright, yeah.
So you don't get a score for attacking those enemies, which is why I was quite content with just flying away from them and not having to bother with trying to make sure that they're all dead before I did anything, because that is something that is horrifically easy to do in pretty much all of the Platinum games, is to go past where a mission is, and then you're not able to get back to it, and it's just like, oh, but I wanted to do that, and it's really, really infuriating.
I used the UFO to fly across this bit, I'm gonna be honest.
That is also fair, but obviously this is the way that you intended to do it, because everything's going to erupt around you as you fly.
Ooh, platinum coin.
So there are meant to be 5 of these throughout every operation part. Obviously you want to try and find them, but it's really not that important.
If you get all 5, does it boost up your score?
I believe so, yes. It also obviously, I think, gives you extra energy and all sorts, but it's really not that important.
Okay.
Well, her head's a compact mirror.
No, I got that. I guess not everyone could be one of the main 7, that's fine.
No! Although we are going to meet one of our main 7 today, which...
Hell yeah.
...is going to be great fun. So, I'm guessing you have mixed feelings towards this operation, then?
I think this first mission is fine. It's the next one that I had a little bit of a struggle with, but we'll discuss that in the next part. Don't trust him.
There's just something a little bit serious about his face with that mask, isn't there?
Really? Oh, good. 2. That's exactly what I want.
This is very much why I was just like, nope, healing guts as soon as possible. Because when you're fighting against these guys, considering how easy it is to get accidentally blindsided by an attack, it really does help in just easing the pressure a little bit in terms of getting through the entire chapter, because one of the things that you will find relatively quickly is that while they start off at a reasonable length, some of them do get quite long.
Well, I'm in this for the full ride, mate, so don't worry.
But we are about to get to one of the more unique segments of the game. It really does like throwing different gameplay styles at you. It's pretty much a Kamiya staple at this point.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that makes all of his games so interesting to explore and experience, because you never know quite what you're going to come up against, and it means that you've always got something new and interesting and exciting going on. Yes, there is the argument that sometimes it can be a bit too much, and it can become impossible to fully respond to everything. You don't necessarily always get enough time to bed in to some of these things, so it's only on top like a replay or multiple replays that you finally go, oh, okay, I understand how this works.
Yeah.
But obviously, different games work in different contexts, and I think one of the things that does work in the Wonderful 101's favour is that because it spends so much of the game giving you variety, you kind of get used to expecting it.
For sure. Now, I enjoy variety in games. My issue so far is that especially in boss fights, it will pop up like a character who you can utilize for a special takedown or whatever.
Yes.
But it's very easy to run out of time before you understand what the game wants of you.
Yes, I would say that those are probably one of the weakest elements. But this maglev sequence, 'cause it's called a maglev.
Team, unite up.
Yes, so you can get a bottle cap if you get through the entirety of this without getting hit.
Sorry, what?
Yes.
I can tell you that did not happen on my playthrough.
The first point that I will highlight is that, if I recall correctly, in the original game, this was faster.
Oh.
So, yeah, so you have to do a lot of moving between rails and jumping and moving out of the way of these spiky things. That bit, relatively okay. There's a couple of turns that are rather mean,
Yes.
and I can't say that they're the kindest. The more challenging bit is things like this with this hammer key, because it's going to fire pretty immediately, and what you want to do is you want to get out of the way and then start firing, but getting that sort of initial dodge out the way, challenging. Getting consistently away from these guys hitting you, also very challenging. But the way that I would recommend doing this is pretty much consistently. If you can get to the left on that section and then just point backwards and fire, you're in relatively safe hands for it.
Very good.
And obviously on these straights, the general recommendation is, if you don't know what's coming ahead, get to the middle, and then you are in relatively good hands for making a move.
Now, while we're battling enemies of our size here, does this count towards the bottle cap?
So it does not. So you're absolutely fine in that segment, from what I recall anyway.
Very good.
Oh boy, the tension that goes through my body whenever I have recorded this segment and desperately tried to not get hit. Because obviously I want to be a badass. And it's not very badass getting hit on these things.
Richie wants to be a badass, but Camilla won't let him.
Gone very smoothly so far, so let's see whether I do actually manage it or not.
Don't jinx it, there's maybe post-com, but things can change in an instant.
They can, and also, if I recall correctly, it has been, like, a couple of years at least since I recorded this, so realistically anything could happen. I only remember the bare bones of how this all went down, although I do remember that I did give myself I had an Excel spreadsheet and awarded myself points for each type of medal that I got at the end of a chapter, because I wanted to try and improve on my ranking from the previous runs that I've done.
Aww.
And because I'm a nerd like that. Also, obviously, get the sword up, otherwise that's going to be painful.
Yeah, you can rebound most lasers, which is kind of nice, because a lot of times in action games it feels like anything that isn't a solid can't be like parried and whatnot.
Yes, also, I believe at this moment I accidentally clicked the control button down, and I had an absolute mental panic breakdown, because I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna get hit, kill me now, I was doing so bloody well. But there we go, perfect driver.
Yeah, pure platinum, baby.
Oh god, yeah, that was so incredibly satisfying to pull off, because I do believe that even though I did manage to do it in my original run of the 1 for 101, that was the first time I've ever done it. First time in a run.
Oh.
Are you ready for a rival?
I am indeed, Rich. Oh.
Iconic.
Wonder Punch.
Red versus purple, baby.
Not blue as you perhaps would expect, but that's because we already have the blue colour taken, so we needed an alternate for this one.
Oh, he purple.
I would say that his coloration is technically more pink, but there is a reason that he goes for the purple coloration rather than pink, because there's another character who takes the pink. Actually, two characters who take pink, actually.
Very fun way of playing that, but hey, we have a rival.
You've managed to fend off my attack.
Who's this fella voiced by, Rich?
Identify yourself.
At last.
So he is voiced by Quentin Flynn, whom most people will recognise as being the voice actor of Axel/Lee,
Is that like the official name?
and Raiden.
Indeed. That's Raiden from the Metal Gear franchise, not Raiden from the Mortal Kombat franchise.
Exactly, and he is also the voice of Henry Cooldown in No More Heroes and No More Heroes 2, but I believe there has been, or was some controversy with him in more recent years, so we'll just leave that there for now.
I am heir to the throne of the Comet Rulo, and
Aren't comets liable to explode? Why would you not become the heir to a planet
I am
instead?
the esteemed Vorkin OG.
Well, but it's less of choosing that, it's more that was where they lived, so he was the heir of the royal family of the Comet.
Okay.
Just think of it like the Comet Observatory.
Okay. Now I'm thinking of a very metal Rosalina.
Oh, could you imagine?
I could. And I did.
I don't care if you're king of the universe, bro. You need to step off our planet.
Chugi, what is your read on this Blunder Red's combat ability?
You've seen that Prince Vorkin here can use Unite Morphs as well, and obviously Kimiya really loves his rival battles. So are you ready for basically team of 100 versus a team of 100?
Oh yeah, it's Pikmin, baby. What was that fucking thing that they talked about in the fourth game? We need a bunch of that.
Only warning, invaders. Surrender your arms, or we'll have to use force.
These can get very hectic, and while modern consoles are relatively okay with surviving these battles, let's just say the original Wii U game,
Wonder, Red, and
oh boy, when it had performance issues, these were your moments. So imagine trying to play these, which are obviously very high tension moments with a lot going on, and playing it at a lot lower FPS than the 60 it was attempting to reach.
Not ideal.
No. And while the Switch version, which is what is being played here, is definitely a marked improvement, it is definitely nowhere near the solid 60 that Platinum did promise in the Kickstarter campaign.
There's that Kickstarter campaign again.
Yeah, as I said, I have a lot of feelings, and I did sort of blurt them out at probably an inopportune moment at the start of the playthrough, but it needed to be said.
Yet one fateful day, something happened that changed my life.
By the time we've gotten to the Switch 2, absolutely fine. Everything can handle this because even though it's a lot, they're a lot more powerful. So clearly, the Wonderful 101 was just very much ahead of its time.
This is supposed to be a run-on kind of speech, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
Wait,
Prince Vorkin really does like to go on and on and on and on
I get it.
and on.
Yeah.
We will do battle, warrior.
So look forward to hearing more of his
Small amusement.
incredibly tragic tale throughout the course of the game, because we are going to hear more of it.
It just sounded like your standard romantic anime plotline, but oh well. Time for punching, I guess.
Yes, this is a challenge, and this is also one of the instances where you are going to start to run into things that the Wonderful Guts can't actually deal with. So obviously if he uses sword, you're screwed. If he uses the paraglider, you're screwed. And you're going to have to dodge those, but obviously what you really want him to do is you want him to use Unite Hand and get that Guts going, because the more of his minions that you take out,
Yes.
the less he's able to do as a move, and the more you're able to attack him before he can counter-attack.
I gotta say, this took me quite a few retries because I was getting very frustrated with his ability to tank. And if I had known that you could guts away his Wonder Hand ability, let's just say I would have had a much smoother time.
Yes, so this is, as sort of Tom, you mentioned earlier, obviously sometimes the game doesn't tell you everything that you want it to tell you. It kind of expects you to have figured out certain bits of, obviously, if anything's going for a physical punch type attack, you can probably guts it. Anything sharp, you can't. This, as a moment, is so new and you're just like, what the hell? It can come as a bit of a shock, and certain things don't always make sense. And also sometimes, you know, you get the timing completely wrong like that, and then you might think, oh, so I can't guts it. You can, it's just that your timing was off.
Now, I'm not opposed to learning as you play, and I'm not even against a lack of tutorialization. You know, games are challenges at the end of the day. Some you can relax with. Obviously, you're playing an action game, so challenge is what you want. More so the fact that this is an isometric fighter. Very well done there, apart from the damage. That's a bit of a shame, but I've played this, so I can attest to that being tricky. If it was more in the perspective of a Metal Gear Rising or a Bayonetta, and it was more legible in regards to like what you're blocking and what's incoming, I would have much less negative to say, but as it stands, you can get overwhelmed very easily.
Things were getting good. Chugi,
As much as I love this game, and as much as I will defend it to the hilt for a lot of things, I think that is one of the areas where it does struggle, because it plays like a Bayonetta game, but you haven't got the same visual cues, or the same visual clarity as you do in Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance and so on. And so yeah, it becomes more challenging, and that is frustrating. But as I said, flow state, you get it, it works. But until you get there, it can be rough.
I gotta say, I was interested to see that this is not the end of the chapter. It just kind of keeps going after this.
Oh yes, I mean, it is interesting in terms of certain chapters feel like they probably go on further than they would do. Others seem to end a lot sooner than they feel they probably should do. That's more of a case right towards the end of the game. But I think part of the reason why this chapter continues as it does is because they very much wanted to make sure that we had a proper member of the wonderful 101 join us before part A of the chapter was done, because they do like to introduce new lead wonderful ones in part A of a chapter rather than part B or part C. I think the only exceptions are Operation 006 and potentially later on as well, but I'm going to keep those ones to myself because spoilers.
Okay.
Let's move.
So far we have gun, sword, and punch in the reverse order that we got them. So, I wonder what we'll be getting in this part, he says, knowing full well what we shall get.
I made sure to get that now rather than later, because it can be a little bit frustrating to try and do it later when you're trying to also, you know, finish the bloody chapter. Because the thing is that the end of the chapter is just over that rise. Also, for some reason, that door needs a lot of people to go into it to to get the secret.
No, go away.
This is one of the chapters where, in theory, it looks like you could, if you sort of pulled out some wonderful codes and unlocked some super secret special wonderful ones that you can unlock through those codes, it looks like you would be able to finish this chapter, but you're not. You specifically need to unlock this wonderful one to make any progress. They were very clever in that way.
You're getting run over a bit here, Rich.
Yeah, it's not my my finest hour. I think, to be fair, I was mentally just going, I got through the Maglev section, I just need to get through to the end of this chapter without failing miserably. And then it did go a little bit tits up, but it's not horrendous. I mean, I still ended up with the gold, so, you know.
I mean, I'm averaging silvers, so I shouldn't be shit-talking your skills at all. You don't even want to know what my score was for the boss of this chapter. Oh my god.
I enjoy the boss of this chapter. I think it's a lot of fun, but oh boy, it can be mean. It can be very, 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 very mean.
Now this I actually did go back for.
Ah. Trying to remember exactly how difficult this particular Kakurega is.
This one's piss easy. If I, of all people, went into it and completed it without comment, oh yeah.
Fair. Yeah, so the way that this one works is that obviously you get the Geth remote to bring these guys to your side, and the whole point is that you want to try and recruit as many of the enemies as possible to make your life easier.
Yo, shouts to Pikmins 2 and 4, where you get the bullpen.
I wonder whether there was some element of somebody had played the Wonderful 101 to sort of pluck that idea as an approach, but to be fair, equally, or potentially unlikely, because not that many people played the Wonderful 101 as much as I want to celebrate it.
Alas.
Also, this is one of the few instances of there being wonder toilets in the Kakuregas. And there is a bottle cap for sending your wonderful ones into every single wonderful toilet in the game. And if I recall correctly, I am certainly going to attempt that feat. We will see by the end of the game whether I actually succeed or not. I mean, actually, sort of, with that discussion of Pikmin in the game, there were obviously a lot of comparisons of this game to Pikmin, and there is an element of that to an extent. You're dealing with a large number of characters on screen at once, and you're throwing them at enemies and making use of that, but I do think that as a comparison, it ended up being somewhat unhelpful to the game as a whole.
It's superficial at the end of the day.
Yeah, people went in expecting something more akin to how Pikmin plays, and it is not that. It is very much more Bayonetta, Beautiful Joe, Okami. It's basically an amalgamation of the majority of Kamiya's gameplay loops for a large portion of his career, because you've got sort of the visual style and superhero-ness of Beautiful Joe, you've got the drawing mechanic of Okami, you've got the level structure and scoring structure and actionness of Bayonetta.
Yep.
And then it has its own things as well. And here we go, our new lead wonderful one. She's iconic.
She animates like a Studio Leica character.
Does a little bit, yeah.
I was thinking of fucking Caroline when I was playing through this.
Pink, she is the girl. This was obviously unexpected. But what is fun is that they play up the tropes of female characters in these types of media, and I think that's what makes her work, because she could have been exceptionally infuriated and exceptionally insulting as well as a character.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna have cool characters, no matter the gender, no matter the orientation, just make them fucking badass.
Yeah. It's like, it ends up just being a lot of fun, because everyone in this game is a stereotype or an archetype to some extent.
Yeah.
They lean into that, but then they do also add interesting wrinkles to their characters. And I think that is something that I just really enjoy.
Very Bayonetta coded.
Very Bayonetta coded, although apparently the final sort of, when she had the back pose, that was apparently actually pure coincidence, which is hilarious. But yes, there are actually a few quick-time events with Pink that can lead to some very, very, very fun outcomes. A prime example being that I think if you fail that one, then she comes over and stomps on the camera because she is pissed.
Oh, like a fucking Pixar outtake. I love it.
There is one that I will bring up when we get to it, which is actually not that far off, which is such a ridiculous one to realise that you can do it to unlock it as a little scene, but it's so funny.
So, as you can see here, Wonder Pink uses her whip to rip apart armour, and very useful against spikes and whatnot. You will want to utilise her before you can take down this guy with the rest of the wonderful 101s.
The whip is also very, very, very powerful, but obviously combo-wise, it's not the best. It's one of those things of power and specific circumstances versus combo points. Mm-hmm. And that is always a thing that you have to sort of measure in the game, and it's the same with all of the weapons that you've sort of ever had to deal with in most Kamiya games. So, just something to consider.
I was literally about to say, I don't see you using Wonder Gun much, but there you go.
I mean, yeah, I will say it is probably one of the Unite morphs that I don't use quite as often as I probably should do. And it's not that I don't want to, it's just that one, it's always easier to quickly draw a straight line, a squiggly line, or a circle. Yes, I know two lines in a right angle is not that difficult. But in terms of other ones, it's also sort of a lot easier to do bigger Unite morphs of the other ones than it is gun, but it's also, I just like using all the other ones probably a little bit more, but that's personal preference.
Oh. I think I'm learning a bit about how to fight this guy with the whip, mate.
It's one of the nice things as well, is that as you gain more wonderful ones, there are certain enemies that you go, oh, I can do that against that one. And you're just like, makes sense now.
So really, as you're going through the game on your first playthrough, don't worry too much about medals and trophies. Just play the game. When the game is over, that's truly when your time to shine begins.
Exactly. So this is what you need Unite Whip to do and to get across, because that is the end of the mission.
Nicely done, mate.
Thank you kindly.
Alright, let's see what you got. Very, very nice.
Get in there.
We'll see you all next time for Operation 002-B. See you then.